All right, welcome back, everybody. We are just about to start Pool 5.
I'm Larks here, commentating Pool 5.
Yep. And for those who haven't been tuning in, I'm Steve. Good to see everyone again. Hopefully you've been following along. All right, so it looks like we are in warm-ups. All right, we have Nex versus Silver. This should be a really interesting match.
Yeah. Silver off to a really strong start there. Looking like they're really locked in. I'm reading a lot slower than Nex. Nex is reading like very fast.
Yes.
Silver reading. I guess also playing no bar, that makes sense. Pretty common to see that when people play no bar, they often read a little slower.
Yep. Yeah. It will be very interesting to see these two players. Nex, Silver Fox, I think this is their second or third mistake on the lake where I've seen them play. And Nex, I had the privilege to play against during the Shakinetsu summer campaign, and they're super good. So we've got two really good players right here.
Yeah, I mean this tournament is so stacked. Like even in some of these lower pools, like it's really impressive to see like the quality of play that we're seeing already in Pool 4, Pool 5, Pool 6, and it's only going to get better.
Yeah.
Silver's still maintaining the PFC here in the warm-up. But it's very close on X. I mean, it is warm-up still, but I think we can expect a really exciting match based on how the warm-up is going.
This is a good warm-up song, too.
Yeah, it's got like, it's pretty, not too crazy, but it's got some good streams, some rhythms, some jumps, kind of everything you'd want to get you a little warmed up for everything.
Yep. Without
getting too exhausted, hopefully. I think it's always kind of an art to, like, I don't know, people treat warm-ups very differently. Like, some people can just jump into hard stuff immediately. Other people really prefer to sort of warm up slowly. Like, sometimes I think playing, if you're not used to warming up fast, like you have to in a tournament, it can be difficult to have to try to perform really well, like after a one-song warm-up.
Yep.
It's definitely like a tournament-specific skill. Wow, really good scores from both players.
Wow.
Silver with 23 PFC to 30 of 1 from Nex.
No joke.
All right, so we'll be getting into the match here.
All right, let's see what we're working with here. I think this is the first pool that has 14s. So I think now we're in the 12 to 14 territory.
I believe so. Ooh, Private Eye. That was a classic. Wow, they both have really impressive PBs.
Yeah. This is gonna come down to pure MA.
Yeah.
Wow, look at Silver's PB right there.
4 is really incredible.
4 perfect.
But 20 is also like very good score.
These players know this song really well.
Yeah, I mean, the 12 folder is really big. There's definitely stuff in there that I think, unless you're someone that's really gone through and played it all, you might not know. But I would say Private Eye is probably one of the more well-known 12s. It's a good song. It's catchy. It's fun.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people would be familiar with this, even if you haven't played like every 12 in the game. Yeah, so given their PBs on this, I would expect this is something they'll both be very comfortable with, and it's really probably going to come down to just like who can squeeze out those few more Marvelouses.
Yep. Yeah. Every Marvelous counts on this.
Yeah.
One.
Both of them with some like pretty. Doing a lot of ghost stepping sort of before the song starts to make sure they're trying to locked in right for the first note, which you can see they both were.
Yeah. Nex is feeling it.
Yeah.
Loving this energy.
Silver with a white combo to like 30 there, but still very close.
Yeah.
Pulling ahead slightly here at the beginning, but a lot of song left.
Still really close. Wow, I think it's within 5 EX at this point.
Yeah. Silver maybe ahead by, something like 5. we do see a little bit of a sort of style difference between, you know, Silver playing no bars, doing pretty much all the crossovers, whereas Nex is opting to double step and not do so many of the crossovers.
Yeah.
Silver still ahead by about 6, I think.
Yeah. Both maintaining that PFC.
And Nex is up on their PB, it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, both players still PFCing. They both look really locked in.
Yeah. Wow.
Silver maintains that 6x lead, but both players with really good PFCs there.
6 perfects.
And I think Nex improved their score, at least their EMU's PB by 16 to 10.
Wow.
That's incredible.
All right, we've entered pool number 5.
Yeah.
This is another level, y'all.
Starting it with a bang.
Yeah. All right, love you more.
Ooh, another classic, kind of a jam. Again, they both have such good PBs on this. Wow. This one maybe, if I had to guess, I would guess that Private Eye maybe is Silver's pick, given their really strong PB on it, and this one maybe is Nex's pick, but they both look very comfortable on both the charts.
Yes.
Love You More is a little faster. It's still relatively straightforward. It does have a couple stops near the end, which if you aren't familiar with them, can definitely catch you off guard. But I think both these players are going to be like very familiar with the stops. I don't expect that to be a problem for either of them.
Yeah, just going to say, I don't think that'll be a problem for either of these players. But
wow, they're stepping hard. I can hear how hard they're stepping.
Yeah.
Wow, both starting off the white combo.
Yeah. Yeah. Nex is not coming here to play.
No.
He is into it.
Wow. Finally, Silver drops the first perfect at 50 combo for both. That's impressive. Now they're both broken their white combos, but still looking very good.
Yeah.
Silver is maybe 3 or 4 ahead.
This is within 5 to 10 EX max. Yeah, you had pointed this out earlier, but yeah, it's fascinating how much slower Silver reads.
Yeah, it's a very big. Let's see, 3.5. I don't know if I can do the math in my head, but 3.5 is pretty fast.
Yeah, both players didn't catch that freeze.
Yeah, it's interesting. The first non-perfect judgment I think we've seen in the whole set there.
Wow.
For both players. That's really close. Silver's only ahead by 2, maybe 3.
Wow.
It's a nail biter.
Oh, another miss by
Silver.
Silver.
Drops combo there. Now Nexus is slightly ahead.
Oh man.
There's that stop. They both nail it.
This is a 4 EX I saw was the last gap. This is really close.
It's so close. It's going back and forth.
Oh, wow.
Silver takes it by 1. It was really back and forth there at the end, too.
Wow.
Nex had it for a while. Wow, both with really good MA, too.
Wow.
That was a great set.
Great job, both players.
So Silver does take that set 2-0, I believe. But very close on both sides.
Very close. Wow.
That was a great set to start the pool with. If that's how the whole pool is going to go, this is going to be an exciting pool.
Look at this! Look at this guy! Look at this guy! It's coming in! It's coming in! What's up, man?
Hello.
Hey.
We're back. I'm here. Greetings, stream friends. I'm Tiza.
And I'm Larks.
I need to scoot over. Here we go. We're about to jump back in to our pool. We have Skibble and Combro. Skibble, otherwise known as Fef.
That makes And I believe this is warm-up, right?
Yes. Let me check what the typo is.
Okay. It is warm-up. We have confirmed.
Cool.
Oh, Fef with an impressive white combo here, right off the bat up for the warm-up.
Yeah, 100 and counting.
I guess
to see it.
Fef did come up from the pool below, so they're probably pretty warmed up still, but looking very locked in. I'm very impressed with the quality of play we're seeing in this pool. I mean, there's so many more pools to go, but like already these players are, I mean, this tournament's just so stacked. These players are just so good.
Yeah, I already tweeted, everyone's so good at DDR now,
I know.
WTF. It's like
crazy.
watching pool 1, 2, 3, people with like really clean combos, great execution.
Yeah.
Like this used to be what the middle of tournaments looked like.
Yeah.
And now it just feels like everyone entering is just so ready to play. It's so hype.
It feels like maybe the main thing separating some of these earlier pools from the later ones is more like how well can you do on like 14s, 15s, 16s. It feels like everyone we've seen today is like on 11s, 12s, 13s is just has incredible timing.
Yeah.
But it's about how, you know, how high up can you take that timing before it starts to sort of fall off a little bit.
Yeah, just the average MA quality is just so high right now.
Yeah.
Seeing players in like pool 1, pool 2 getting like 30 perfects on 10s and 11s and 12s is just like, it's just table stakes now to be that rhythmically solid, which is crazy and awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome to see. It's always fun to see like the newer players that I'm not so familiar with too in the early pools who are already crushing it, and like I'm sure, you know, in another year we'll be seeing them doing really well. All right, got our warm up done there. Skibble did take it with 22 and 1. Well, I mean, it's just warm up, but PFC from Combro, impressive. And we'll be getting into the set here.
We do not have eyes on the cards yet, so we will be learning with you. Oh boy, here we go.
That last set we saw was kind of two like straightforward bangers that I think like most people enjoy.
Yeah.
Sweet Home Party, a little different.
None of those things.
No.
Unless you're
some
Ben,
people enjoy it, but
you're No Bar Ben, who's like preternaturally good at that song.
Yeah, it's definitely a little polarizing.
So for those not familiar, Sweet Home Party, you can hear the triplet swing, so you have a little bit of triplet rhythms in there, and some gradual tempo changes from, as you can see, the 134 BPM to 180. It is smooth. It doesn't kind of have the jerkiness of like a Jamanda or a Cytokinesis, but it's still really tricky to time. And the patterns are not friendly. It is tricky.
Yeah. It does look like Skibble has a bit better PB on this one. Maybe this is their pick, 993 to 961.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yep. I'm almost surprised that it took until we're on level 4, right? Yes, we are.
Yeah.
I'm surprised almost surprised it took until level 4 to see Sweet Home Party. I was not surprised to see, for example, Monkey Dance in pool 1. Like, these are the kind of songs that if you know and you feel confident on being consistent in a tournament, you can really mess people up.
Yeah.
Now, the wrinkle is that your opponent is picking off of your cards. So Combro would rather have played this than whatever else was on Fef's card.
Yeah.
So maybe we might see something spicy.
The start here kind of is not too wild. There's kind of a nice mellow beginning before the crazy speed changes start that really, although there are some of those green notes that can be pretty tricky.
Yep. At least the patterning in this section is pretty friendly. It's all about the rhythm. It's not really about the movement. Compare that to something like Tribe or Deadball, where you're doing the rhythm and you're also galloping all over the place.
It's very close. I think it's dead tied, or maybe 1x difference.
Yeah, I think 1, 2, flip them around a little bit.
Ooh, Skibble up by 2 there, freeze, but it's really going to come down to these speed changes.
Yep. Speed changes starting now.
Speeds up. It's difficult to pick a good read speed for this because of this speed up part. Yep. And then it slows down here.
And then speeds up again.
Yep.
So Fef pulling ahead about 10 EX lead.
But it's so close. And the Combro looks like they're way up on their PB.
Yeah. Nicely done by Fef.
Nice.
Takes it by 15. Combro hung in there too, though.
Yeah.
That was PB, EX PB
Yeah,
by
I
a
mean, those
lot.
are
And
very close
yeah,
scores.
988. Combro just beat his machine score PB by like 25K.
Yeah.
So great showing by first players. Fef takes the first song.
All right, looks like we'll be playing a 14 here. Maybe one of the
Orca!
first 14s we've seen since I think it's the first pool that has 14s. And Orca is, I guess, physically not too bad, but of course the difficulty is coming from that all those BPM changes, stops.
Yeah.
Really throws a lot at you.
It'll be interesting to see. So Orca has the one kind of zoom section at 310, or
Yeah.
the two back to back. It'll be interesting to see what speed mod the players choose. Some players will memorize the fast part because it's kind of 2 quick bursts. Other players will just have to bite the bullet and read slow for the whole song.
It looks like they both have AAAs on this, so it wouldn't surprise me if they're pretty comfortable and might opt to read it pretty fast. Kind of just deal, especially if you're playing for X score, where it really is like how many marvelouses you're getting that matters. Even if you're sort of losing a little bit on that short fast section, it might be worth it if it means in the longer, slower section you're getting more marvelouses.
Yeah, definitely. Combro has a flag on this. He had a 998 something. I didn't quite see, but so Skibble definitely familiar with it with a 992, but Combro knocking on the door of a PFC.
And we do see Combro is reading it a lot faster, 375 versus 275. So we'll see how that plays out in the speed up.
He was tapping it out on the pads before locking in. There we go.
Ooh, that is flying.
Zoom in.
But he handles it really well.
Ooh.
Does pick up a couple oopsies there, but that's it for the fast section. So
Fef up by 4 right now, but we'll see if Combro gets the advantage on the faster read speed to catch up MO-wise.
it's very close.
Oof, 1EX. Level 4 and Orca difficult by 1EX halfway through the song.
Yeah,
like, this is the world we live in.
Crazy.
How cool is this?
Tied there, wow.
Dead tied
So
at the
close.
stop. So we're going to see a few more 16th drills here, but still pretty straightforward patterning.
Both doing the turns there. Cool to see.
Combro up by about 5 or 6 now, but still anybody's game. Last set of stops.
Wow, they really stomped that jump.
Oh, buddy.
Combro's pulling out a little bit, maybe. 8. Looks like he's got it. Wow, nice.
Wow, so by 10, so we have the 1-to-1.
That was another really close song. Wow.
Yeah.
And both with
70 to
really good
79,
scores. Like, those are
yeah.
very close to both their PBs, I think. And Orca's the kind of song that it's hard to, if you have a good PB, it can be pretty hard to just replicate it in a tournament like one shot. It's a lot to remember. You really got to kind of have it baked into your brain.
Yeah, and it's always tough to, like, you get used to practicing at your arcade in your environment, whether that is a noisy round 1 or a quiet or small place or at home, wherever it has. But a tournament is always different.
Yeah.
The machines are in a different spot. There's a million people around. There's cheering. You know you're being watched by everybody on the stream, everybody back there. So yeah, it is very mentally taxing to rip a song like Orca, and both players did great on that one. So kudos to them.
Yeah.
Every time I see the song named Bradley, I just gotta chuckle. How do you like your sandwich, Bradley?
Is Bradley unlocked now for like everyone to play?
I don't remember.
Tournament legal? Yeah, I can't remember either.
So
and we see here
Fef
that's
has a 38 perfect PFC.
It looks like Combro may never have played
not.
it.
Does not have a score on any difficulty.
I think it's fairly sight readable. There's nothing like I don't think there are any stops or anything too wild, but it's just a little bit of a strange chart, I think. So that familiarity that Fef has might be a big help. But we'll see.
Only one way to find out, and we're going into it now. Oof. Rough start, but an equally rough start.
some kind of syncopated rhythms here.
Yeah. Oh, I do remember this chart. Yeah, there's some really techie rhythmic stuff in here. Patterns aren't too bad, but it's going to be a test of syncopation, your 16th offbeats, some gallops, things like that. Pretty good reading challenge for Combro, but he's hanging in there.
Yeah, Fef definitely is off to a little bit of a lead here, but it's definitely still anyone's game.
Combro got away with a pretty nasty double step on that gallop, but two marvelouses.
It always kind of feels like you're getting away with something when you kind of panic, double step a gallop, and don't drop your PFC or your combo. Both handling that triplet run well.
Yeah, Combro totally unfazed MFC the triplets.
And
One
here's some
EX.
kind of weird freeze crossovers where you either have to commit to it or do some switching on the freeze. Ooh, it's really close now, yeah.
Yeah, it's super close.
Yeah, Combro's coming back from a slight deficit at the beginning.
That 16th syncopation, stream of yellow notes.
Ooh, it's tied.
Oh my gosh.
It's tied again. It's going back and forth. So close.
Please let them tie the tiebreaker song.
Oh, wow.
Fef by 2.
What
Combro sight reading.
Yeah, that's an incredible sight read.
Well, maybe sight read. Maybe just doesn't
Yeah,
have the score on the
true,
card.
true.
But my goodness, 2 EX.
What a good match. Again, like both matches so far have been so close, and both players playing so well. Really impressive.
The great thing about the waterfall structure, you end up getting a couple of really good matches in every pool, or 4 good matches in every pool if you're fortunate.
Yeah.
Or 5.
Another thing that I've been enjoying so far in this tournament is the way the format works is that each player picks 6 songs that presumably like they're comfortable with, like two from each difficulty level, and then your opponents have to pick which of those songs they're playing against you. So in sort of every match, you're gonna see at least a song that at least one player probably is very comfortable with and really suits their strengths. So you kind of get a sense of like, oh, what is this player good at? What is that player good at? As opposed to sometimes when you're just doing card draw, it's like, especially in these lower difficulties, you can just get songs that maybe nobody knows.
Osaka difficult.
Yeah, or just things that people do know and just really don't want to play. Although in this format, you could, if you're really good at Osaka difficult, that is something you can pull out. Your opponent might not choose to play it against you if they know what's good for them. But
yeah, and that's another nice part about the format is that your opponent still gets to pick their poison a little bit. It is possible to put 6 songs that they just absolutely hate, but they still get to get their least favorite out of your card. So you have a little bit of counterplay there to try to deal with what you got. But yeah, we'll see. It's been exciting so far. We're probably going to see a lot of jank. Hopefully this doesn't go full upbeat where we see Deggers.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I think in those upper pools, I expect to see a lot of Chaos, Pluto, Deggers type of stuff.
Yeah.
But so far today in the pools I've watched, I haven't seen too much of the really sort of heinous charts, but I've seen a lot of I've seen New Era Basic got played like twice, which that's a cool chart. It's interesting, but it doesn't come up too much in a normal tournament if you're doing card draws.
Yeah, it definitely lets you flex your chart knowledge and your practice a little bit. It's kind of a good balance of being able to actually have a song that you rehearse and really know really, really well, and then just focus on the execution. But you still have to put 6 songs on your card. So it's not like you can just pick one song and get really, really, really good at it and then ride that one out. You could get really, really good at the one song and then your opponent doesn't pick it and you better have practiced the rest of your card.
Looks like we got Lindworm here. That's exciting. And one of these newer A3 songs. I mean, I guess it's been out for about a year, but it was paywalled behind Grand Prix packs until only maybe a month or 2 ago, I think it became available for everyone. So I'm not sure, different players might have different level of familiarity with this depending on, what their access situation is. And it's a pretty tricky 14. It's slow, but it's got a lot of notes, a lot of stream.
Yep.
Kind of tricky syncopated rhythms.
So fef stays on the pads but switches to the right side. Nexplosion comes back up to take the left side.
fef had a very good BP on this, 35 PFC, so we'll see if they're able to replicate that performance.
Really, Lindworm has really high BPM as well.
Yeah,
it's one of those songs where eighth notes are not safe.
No.
So fef pulling ahead early, got about a 12 EX lead and counting. Still a lot of song left. A lot of broken rhythms, a lot of patterns that end on an eighth note, whether it's 2 or 4 or 6.
Yeah.
And you usually have to move right out of the drills too in this chart, so you can't easily just add a step to round out the eighth notes.
Yeah. It's kind of a stamina drainer too. It's a long song. There's a lot of steps for a 14, I think.
Yeah.
fef is kind of pulling ahead a little bit, up maybe 20 or so.
Some of this can also come down to player style. Nex plays with a lot of motion, a lot of movement. He lifts his feet a lot. He throws his body into steps. There are times where that's advantageous, but sometimes, especially with like high BPM rhythms, or if you're not as comfortable with a pattern, that can get you in trouble if you overcommit your body weight a little bit.
Yeah.
fef, much more controlled, smaller. Not a value judgment. I mean, everyone will tell you step as small as possible, and then you watch Chris like 8 inches off of the pads on jumps. So it's like, there's no winning strategy. But
yeah, it depends like how much gas you have in the tank.
Yep.
fef to take that by 50, wow, with a 995, really good score. And as you were saying, you know, maybe putting a little less energy into the pad on a long, kind of tiring 14 like that. fef did kind of pull away at the end, so maybe you sort of see that coming into play.
Ooh, Pierce the Sky.
This got difficult. It's one you don't see too often.
I really like this song.
Yeah,
musically.
the song is really good. It has some tricky stops.
Yeah, it has it's like
too.
2 1-beat stops.
Yeah.
Or if you're just tapping quarter notes, you'll be fine. You still got to remember it's there.
Yeah, if you know it's there, it's fine. If you don't know it's there, it's like by the time you realize it's stopped, it's like already going again, and it's really easy to get thrown off.
Yep. The slowdown in the middle with the kind of janky sync too.
Yeah.
It like, if I remember right, it drifts early in the slowdown and is late the rest of the song. Just one of those like not quite correctly smoothed over cuts.
And I feel like the rhythm is also are a little strange in that slowdown. Like they kind of go to the song, but they kind of don't. Like you kind of have to know like how ideally, you know, like have the rhythm in your head. If you just are trying to like kind of go with what the music's doing, it's easy to be off by an eighth note or something in a couple spots.
Yeah. It's almost like a New Decade training song.
Yeah.
It kind of has that like not full rhythmic articulation to it, but it's really tricky rhythms and then the slowdown and all that good stuff. fef really clean to start. Next picking up a couple. Both players locking in a bit here.
There's those stops.
Next getting one great. Actually, both of them getting great in the freezes.
Fef's up by 7, I think.
Yeah. It's so tough, especially if you forget the rhythm because freeze arrows are just solid green.
Yeah.
If you don't realize it's not, especially with 16th notes. If it's a 16th note off, it's sometimes hard to notice that.
Here we have the slowdown. Wow. That
Yeah,
was a
just
tricky
starting
rhythm.
the upbeats.
Just all on this yellow notes. But they both handle it pretty well. And it's actually the gap kind of closed.
Oh, it's completely closed.
Wow.
Next with a huge comeback so far.
Yeah, making up some ground in that slowdown, I guess.
Last chorus. Got about 20 seconds left in the song.
Actually slightly ahead, but not by much.
Oh, he hangs on to it.
Nice. Next does take it by 6.
What a comeback.
Yeah.
You love to see it.
Taking it to the third song here in this set, too. Love to see that.
And T.O. Typo Box getting on the card draw. After a brief veto party, we will get to see the goods and relay that to you all.
And the way the card draw works is that they'll draw 3 songs randomly from the difficulty range. Each player picks one they don't want to play, and then whatever's left is the song they play.
Card draw meta is really, really interesting to me. I'm like a game theory nerd sometimes, and I love just like the strategy of trying to figure out what your opponent's going to veto, comparing that to your strengths and weaknesses, comparing it to their strengths and weaknesses. Like, it's a fun little like side game within the game.
Yeah.
There are definitely players that I know that are incredibly smart about stuff like card draw and selections and things like that.
Liam, get Alex, the other one.
I do not know what this is called in English.
I feel like I know. I've heard it, but I forget. Both have very similar PBs on this. Yeah, the card draw meta is always interesting, and it's always like, you can really do, if you want to, you can go really deep and try to do a lot of research on your opponents and like figure out what they're good at or what they're not good at. And it's also really easy to always like look back after the fact and be like, oh, I should have picked this instead of the thing I picked.
Yeah.
It's easy to second guess yourself after, especially if it doesn't like go quite the way you wanted.
Yeah. Especially in tournament play, it's important to be process-oriented, not results-oriented.
Yeah.
You have to make the best decision you can with the information you have at the time based on how you're feeling that day. You will always think there was a better idea if it doesn't go the way you wanted to in retrospect, but you just got to worry about, did I make the right choice at the time?
Yeah.
And we will see. Next was a slight early lead.
Both players holding on to their gold combos. Some 3 notes there. My recollection is that this is a fairly straightforward 13. I think it's a little bit, quick, but it's kind of just a lot of 8-note streams.
Yes, I didn't get to the BPM. It feels like 170-ish,
Yeah.
165. Yeah, other than the triplets, not a lot of craziness. A lot of 8th notes.
Next is kind of pulling ahead by 10, 11, I think. And still holding on to their PFC.
Still -1 off the PB.
Ooh, there's a big triplet run. I forgot about
Next
that.
crushed that
Yeah.
run. Fef no slouch either. We have the info. Chiho Sose Chikuwa Tactics. Chikuwactics?
I'm glad that you pronounced it. I was afraid to try.
So next is locked in right now.
Yeah.
He's right with his PB. He's got a 15-20 EX lead, approaching 20.
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard for Fef to make that up.
Yeah, the more straightforward song like this, usually you kind of just see the lines diverge at some point. And a first
Nice.
PFC for Nex.
+4.
New PB.
And an X-Score PB as well.
Yeah.
Very nice, 37. All right, so next we'll take this at 2-1. But
Doing a little celebration shimmy on the pads. You love to see it. For the next match, I believe is next stand on. Nope, Silver Flare's back up. Silver Flare and Combro. Cards are being sorted out as the login is going on.
I would say of the pools I've watched so far today, at least this side of this pool is one of the closest. Like, I feel like all 4 of these players are super close in skill level. I could see any of them making it out, really.
Yeah, Silver Flare too is in some real nail biters of MA in their last couple matches. So we'll see how it plays out. DDR selection.
That would be bold.
That's really funny. I choose max 300 from the max UI. Oh, that would be so nasty if you could do that. Force people to play on like
the OG like 1X Vivid. All right, looks like we're playing golden arrow difficult here.
Ooh, good song.
Both players with very similar PBs, 36
2
to
EX
38.
off. Oh my gosh. It's always nice to see the no bar representation as well.
Yeah, I feel like I see, like, I almost feel like every tournament I see, like, maybe more and more. I mean, it's still a minority, but, like, it used to be maybe just 1 or 2, and now I feel like there's like a sizable number of nowhere players, which is cool to see.
It definitely feels more common, which is neat. And I'm glad that, like, we have, as a community, have kind of rejected the, like, bar argument discourse.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, all right, look, we're just done. We're not even talking about it anymore. Play the game how you want, which is how it should be. And it's really cool seeing no bar players multiplying and being able to crush it at their own style.
Yeah, and players like No Bar Ben doing great, even at like the top level, showing that, you know, while some people might think, you know, No Bar can hold you back, like, I don't know if that's really the case with how well we see some No Bar players doing. The song is really close. Silver 3x ahead maybe, and holding on to their PFC.
Combro got it good. I wasn't watching.
Yeah, I'm not sure what
Hopefully
happened
not
there.
pad. But
Both
still
of them
very
are
close.
ahead of their PBs here, at their expert PBs.
I always love seeing players getting PBs in tournaments. It just feels good.
Yeah.
You always want everybody to do their best and just rip however you can. In a game like DDR, you don't get to interact with your opponent. There's no way to make them more tired or have a harder pattern or anything like that. So it's all in your own execution. It's always it feels good when both players are executing well.
Wow, Combro dropping that one good, but winning the song with 19 perfects.
19 to 26.
Yeah, I think both of them improved their PBs by like 10 or 15 there.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Really well done by both. I think, didn't they both have like 999.3s?
They both had 9996.
Or no,
I think.
it
They had
was like
30,
64,
30 something
68, yeah.
perfects. But still, that's a huge improvement.
Guys, that was an incorrect song. We read that just now.
Oh, well, just kidding. We have just been informed by RTO that that was the wrong song. Don't know how that happened, but they picked the wrong song and went with it.
Impressive showcase, though.
So, good warm-up. And now we're playing song 1.
HYPERDRIVE. It's a newer song from maybe
This was
A20
Plus.
A20 Plus, yeah.
This is my. I really like this chart. I wish there was a challenge to this.
Yeah.
This song is such a bop. It's also quite late, but I mean, DDR.
What can you do? It's DDR.
Yeah. Who could have guessed? But yeah, Moe Shop, really fun musical style, kind of jazzy, a little like kind of 90s New Jack Swing style a little bit. Really fun. Yeah, this chart's a lot of fun. Small 8th note patterns. You got the little syncopation in there, some gallops. And just a really comfy BPM.
Yeah.
I go step like every 8th note in this song. I'm just always just that all the time.
It does have a lot of kind of broken sections, so if you're comfortable doing that go stepping, that can help you every time there's kind of like a little small gap. Just maintain that rhythm so that you can come back in and keep hitting Marvelous. It's really close. Combro up by 3, maybe?
Yeah, still very close.
Both players still PFCing. Tricky gallops there.
The song's so pop. Even just sitting here listening, I'm just like,
Yeah,
this is like kind of
doing a little
wiggling to the
dance.
8th note rhythm a little bit. It's so fun. Man, really clean by both players. Still super tight. Combro by 1. Combro by 0.
Combro does drop the PFC, but I don't know if it'll matter.
What matters right now is Fef is
True.
up by 2.
Right now, it is making a difference.
Or not Fef, excuse me, Silver Flare. Yeah, 2 games in a row with Fef, so.
Wow, Silver pulls away just barely at the end, taking it by 6.
Nicely done. So the Great was a bummer, but the Great didn't matter.
25.
It's kind of crazy to me that, so, like, because that song's really late.
Yeah.
And so Silver getting 4 fasts and 21 slows, like, how?
Really adjusting.
Yeah.
Like adjusting almost maybe a little too much.
Yeah.
But that's easy to do if you're really trying to consciously, if you kind of know the song, you know, like, oh, it's a little bit late. It's easy to try to like make that adjustment, but it's the adjustments you have to make are so subtle. Even though when you're playing, it can feel like, oh man, this song is so late.
Yep.
Usually it's like maybe 10 milliseconds, 20 milliseconds is enough to make it feel late, and it's hard to make like just the right amount of adjustment. It's easy to go a little too far.
It's definitely a skill to like keep time with your own rhythm.
Yeah.
And like be able to disregard, especially when, you know, HYPERDRIVE has a really quick driving beat. It's got a really clean 4 on the floor kick snare combo. Like you can feel the beat in the song very cleanly, and you have to separate yourself from that to get that timing. And like you said, it is very easy to overcorrect. That's one of my specialties when I play DDR, is overcorrecting for sync.
All right, we got Poseidon for his K here. I really like this 14. I feel like this is like one of the best parties in the game. It's super on sync.
Yep.
Really good song.
Really fun.
Flows well.
The stops are super interesting.
Yeah, the stops are really hype.
Light knowledge check. Also, song's a banger.
Yeah.
Oh, Combro picked his back foot off early, but got away with it.
Freezes are in general like pretty lenient. You know, you can take your foot off like a little before it really ends on the screen and get away with it as long as you're kind of close.
Combro 22 on the PB.
Ooh,
oh.
Maybe not quite familiar with how that stop went.
The thing about Poseidon stops is that they're not directly on like an end of a musical phrase or like an obvious song transition.
Yeah.
Usually you kind of get that feel of like, yeah, it's the end of the phrase, we stop for a couple beats and then we keep going. Poseidon is in the middle of the section.
Yeah, it's kind of like
you just gotta know.
Emphasizing some of those like heavy musical hits.
Yep.
So it's easy to remember if you played it before, but if you don't know what to expect, it's not easy to predict.
Yeah. There's not a lot of signaling in the patterns either. It's not like holds or an obvious transition in the steps.
Silver is going to take this one by 20.
Clean.
Yeah.
22 EX score victory from Silver Flare.
But Combro, I mean, at least compared to the PB they have on EMU, is a big improvement. So picking up a few misses, but I mean, their timing is very solid. Just a couple of those stops, not quite as familiar.
So the 2-0 for Silver Flare.
Yep.
Over the Combro. Unfortunately, there is no combo-based scoring in DDR. We're not using machine
unfortunately,
scoring.
at least some might say unfortunately.
Well, unfortunately for Combro. But we move on. We have next up, we are getting Fef and Silver Flare. Silver is remaining on the 2-player side. Fef hopping up on player 1. This is going to be interesting because I feel like I'm watching the way they both play. They kind of have a very similar crispness to their steps.
Yeah.
Very clean and very controlled, doing a great job on kind of the songs like Poseidon with the kind of lower medium speed 8th notes.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun to watch these two go head to head, and we're going to see, just how close we're going to get. Crossing my fingers for more hype ties.
Yeah, they both look like they're, they know all the charts they're playing really well. They're reading a little slower. It's very like controlled style where they aren't really like reacting. Sometimes players opt to like read faster, and you kind of try to almost like react a little bit, and it can make it easier to visually time because the notes are more spaced out. It's sometimes easier to just visually figure out like where you have to hit in order to get those marvelouses, but you can also get caught off guard and pick up a miss or something when you get a little surprised by something if you're trying to read really fast and react.
Yep. Ooh, absolutely.
That is an old school chart.
We got the boomer stuff.
It's a sort of, and wow, Silver has a really 9P is really good on this. It has a very difficult little slowdown at the end where it's easy to pick up probably 9 perfects just in that slowdown. It's probably only 9 notes long, but
yeah, I think my PB on this is like 35.
Yeah.
This song is tricky to time. Got some quick 16th notes in there. Obviously, the big slowdown at the end with the 16s in it. Absolute crawl so Cytokinesis could walk. This feels like such an extreme chart to me.
Yeah, it
the
has
like the 1 foot motion and the 16th notes and stuff like that.
And where it's like it's like fits the vibe of the song, but it doesn't really quite. A lot of the time in Extreme, they would sort of like simplify the rhythms a little bit, or like put things on the beat when they aren't on the beat, which is it maybe makes it easier, but I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't make it easier. Sometimes it's easier when things just go exactly to the music, even if it's a little more complex rhythm.
Yep. That last section is a good example of that. The rhythm's kind of having the da 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 da, da and the arrows are just da 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 da. That's the every 7 is the same chart in Extreme, with like 4 exceptions. They're either all the 8th note jumps, or they're the like syncopation charts, where the entire chart is just like da 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 da.
You almost have to have like another layer in your head where it's like, okay, I'm listening to the song, but then also in my head, I know what the rhythm and sort of like the click track like needs to be in order to be hitting. It's very close. Silver a little bit ahead, but Fef still maintaining the PFC.
We'll see if the PFC survives the encounter with the ending. We're coming up right on it.
Ooh.
Oh. Silver by 10.
That was a classic absolute moment there.
Yep.
Just,
the one great
clean
and the
PFC
one good.
and then the great and the good right at the end. 16 is really good at me.
Yeah, extremely clean, very comfy. 16p on a 9p PP. That is nothing to be ashamed of. That's great play by Silver. Fly, far, bounce. Ooh, I like this song.
This is another song that like, it's like tragic that it doesn't have like a challenge 15 or something. Yeah, it's such a good song.
I love Necromata Master.
Yeah, I do too.
I love his style, his instrumentation. Just, I get good vibes from his music.
Yeah, it's been great to see in A3 getting some new Necromata Master stuff. I feel like it's been a while since there's been new Necromata Master in DDR.
This is the one that has the slowdown at the end, right? Or is that Dancer on the Flare? No, Dancer on the Flare doesn't have the slowdown.
I don't remember if this one has a slowdown or not.
I think
You're probably right.
I think this one has the slowdown at the end. Players are probably warmed up to that from playing Absolute before. Ooh, Fef rushing the jack a little bit.
Silver looking really locked in. Like barely even dropping any triplets.
Silver has like 3 or 4 right now, I think.
Ooh, those fast jumps are pretty, it's like a physically pretty difficult pattern, especially in the 13.
Yeah, it's definitely like on the upper end of what gets charted in 13s. It's a lot of fun though.
Yeah.
Like once you get the jump control for that, it's like, oh, okay. Both players pretty clean to the step jumps, but Silver Flare, unflappable right now.
Looking really good on the chart. It's like a pretty big lead here too, like 30x.
I like watching the way that Silver does turns. They're like barely moving.
Yeah, their form is really good.
Really minimal form. That's the kind of thing that playing no bar gets you.
Yeah.
Because you have to be very controlled and very minimal because you gotta keep your body weight centered and your legs are doing more work.
Picking up a grade in that triplet run, but still a pretty solid lead. Oh yeah, this does have this gradual slowdown here right at the end.
Yep, right there. Silver by 33. I was about to say 4. But then they got one more.
Really
very
impressive
clean
performance from Silver.
Silver with the 2-0.
Wow, 16? Are you kidding me?
Wow. Crispy.
That is an incredible score.
Wearing a gold Life 4 jersey. Not for long.
Yeah. The gold is kind of the, the old joke. Like, used to be, like many, Evil Dave, the famously gold Life 4 player.
Noted gold
Silver
player.
is maybe joining the ranks.
All right, so we have Combro and Nex taking the pads. This is going to be fun. This pool has been very
this
close.
is a good pool.
This has been a very tight pool.
Really enjoying watching this pool.
And really, the only like close to blowouts are like Silver getting 16
Yeah,
on
which like, what, I mean, what can you do?
fly far. It's like, oh wow, okay.
Like, who isn't going to get blown out playing against that?
I would get blown out playing against
Yeah,
that.
me too.
I would not get 16 on fly far bounce.
And I feel like, I haven't looked, I forget off the top of my head like who's in the next pool, but I feel like whoever makes it out of this pool, I think I could easily like have a good showing in the next pool too. I mean, these players all look really, really solid.
We have the technology. They join the pool with Artix, Fab, Sab, and Jackie.
Nice.
I definitely feel like the skill spread in the community has like filled out a lot.
Yeah.
Like it feels like a much more gradual transition between pools. Seeing someone win multiple pools isn't so crazy anymore. And it doesn't feel like when someone gets promoted into the next pool up, like they just get fed to the Sharks.
Yeah.
It has that same like, uphill battle, but like there's going to be a fight. It's going to be good.
Yeah. Definitely makes the job of the tournament organizers, I think, more difficult figuring out like how do you put these like 12 to 20 players that are all like so close in skill level. Maybe one's like a little better at 14s, one's a little better at 12s. How do you even decide like whether they should be in pool 5 or pool 6 or pool 7? But it's great for the players, to have all these like close, and the spectators have all these super close matches and not have matches where you just feel like you're have a big mismatch in skill.
Okay, so now we're playing Golden Arrow difficult.
Bringing it back.
All right, so that explains where this came from. And
Wow,
they have the same
actually
PB.
the same PB.
38 perfect. We are all intimately familiar.
They're both putting a lot of energy into this. I can hear them hitting the pads from like 8, 10 feet away.
I can feel the steps right now. I think it's mostly Nex, but Combro is also stomping them.
They both definitely want it.
I feel like songs like this that are a little bit more upbeat, that have a really hard kick, just kind of lend itself to stomping. It just, I don't know, it just feels nice. Also, like, the kick in this song is really punchy.
Yeah.
It's got that pew, pew, pew.
It's always nice when you're trying to time really precisely when the song just has like a very consistent, like hard-hitting sound like that you can sort of calibrate with.
Yeah.
It can be hard when, some songs that don't have that, you just have to really be maintaining it in your head. It's easy
Players
to drift.
are tied. Nex is 12 up, both up on their PBs.
Yeah, they were tied on their PBs and they're tied on their X right now.
Yeah. Ooh, Nex picks up 5.
Ooh.
Combro gets a couple, keeping it close. Oh, we're back to 1. Oh my goodness.
Ooh. Nex picks up a great there on a gallop.
It's still ahead by 1, and oh my goodness, this is a nail biter.
No, like this could not be any closer.
We're almost done with this song. This is going to be decided by a couple EX unless someone trips up.
It's going to come down to the outro. Wow, Nex being locked in MFC in the last like 15 notes or so to close it out with 4x lead. Nice. And I think both players improving their PBs.
Yes. Sans the Great, but best EX scores for both. Nex flexing to his friends.
Ooh, the Wind of Gold. That's an interesting tournament song. It's kind of a pretty tricky 14. Like a little bit weird sync, a lot of gallops, tricky rhythms.
Yep. Also very late. Very, very late. Some pretty quick 16th gallops at the end at 170, some crossovers as well.
Yeah, it doesn't really have too many long or even long runs, but there's a lot of these sections with just gallops after gallops after gallops, where it can be easy to get off at the beginning of the pattern and pick up a lot of perfects or even greats.
I didn't see Combro's PB, but I saw that Nex has a 993.
I think Combro had 970 something.
Oh, so this might be Nex's off the Nexus card.
Yeah. Nex picking up an early grade there.
Yeah, it's that sync adjustment.
Yeah.
Not going to be surprised to see a lot of fasts here, which is exactly what's happening to Nex.
Combro looking really locked in.
Yeah. Golden Arrow is also on to maybe incrementally early to me. So going from that to Wind of Gold, which is noticeably late, takes a lot of like mental fortitude to correct yourself.
Yeah, that's another tough tournament skill where, you know, if you're just playing by yourself, like if you're trying to switch from something early to something late, you can always just play it again, and like the second time you'll probably be used to the sync. But in the tournament, you know, you don't have that luxury. You just gotta switch and be on immediately. It's really close. Maybe 1x, 2x difference. Nex slightly ahead.
Yeah, Nex has closed the gap, and he's closed the gap on his own PB as well.
Actually, it's a little more than I thought. Or maybe it widened. Maybe 15 right now.
Nex is slamming these rhythms. He is doing such a good job on these gallops. Those offbeat 16th notes coming out of those two very hard jumps, it's a little bit tricky. And Nex is up on his PB now. Despite the rough start, Combro way up on his PB, but Nex has him by 30.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to come back from the 30.
Here comes the twisties.
Wow.
Ooh, Nex got a little excited on the last thing, but it did not matter.
Nex with a big lead there, 45x difference, I think. Sort of had a little bit of tough time adjusting at the beginning, but then was able to adjust really well and, you know, hold out through the rest of the song.
Yeah.